1,050,000, 1,100,000. 5 houses right here, maybe 2 houses right there, you feel me? I do not cap, this is really my lifestyle. This is how I really live.
I got him a deal, right, to play video games once a week for an hour. $2 million up front, just doesn't do it. He had no money at the time, and he needed money to buy Birkin bags for all these black chicks and give away money to make his girlfriend jealous. That's literally like the factual story. He told the company, I need $2 million up front so I can buy a content house. The guy's an idiot.
6ix9ine flaunts money, buys Birkin bags for his girlfriend, yet leaves his daughter Soraya in need, only providing $2,000 over 5 years. What a fake.
Those scathing criticisms weren't just fleeting social media comments, but the voices of millions who once celebrated Daniel Hernandez, better known as 6ix9ine, the rainbow-haired rapper who shook the hip-hop world. At his peak, he broke Instagram livestream records with over 2 million viewers, sent the internet into a frenzy as Gooba and Trollzy racked up 45 million views in 24 hours, and transformed from a Brooklyn nobody into the king of New York. A pop culture icon who defied all rules yet reaped fame at a staggering pace. To fans, he wasn't just a rapper, he was a storm, living proof that an outsider could dominate the game. But that radiant glory quickly turned dark. Love morphed into contempt. Cheers became curses. Behind the million-dollar hits lay an unerasable trail of scandals, a man who'd do anything for money, no matter the cost to law or honor. He foolishly bragged about and incriminated himself in his lyrics, faced convictions for sex crimes, eagerly brawled in public to feed his ego, draped himself in a facade of luxury with diamonds, supercars, and cash, only for close allies to expose it as fake. The climax, snitching on 12 associates to slash a 47-year sentence to just 2 years, turning him from a rebellious icon into a despised traitor, labeled a Karen and mocked across social media. From the defiant king of New York, 6ix9ine is now just a name tied to deceit, betrayal, and indelible stains. What drove a man who once ruled the world to hurl himself into the abyss? The cost of betrayal or inescapable arrogance? To understand this fall, we must trace back each milestone from the moment Dummy Boy propelled him to the top, to the point when his entire empire crumbled beyond salvation.
Does money dictate everything you do? Yes, what the f?
Did you not hear car selection?
No.
I'm not gonna address nothing. I'm never gonna address nothing. Y'all believe what y'all wanna believe. That's a half a ticket right there.
Daniel Hernandez grew up in Bushwick, Brooklyn, a harsh environment where violence and poverty were daily realities. After his stepfather was murdered when he was 13, Hernandez dropped out of school in 8th grade and took odd jobs to support his family. In 2014, under the stage name 6ix9ine, inspired by Japanese anime and the number 69, he began his music journey. With rainbow hair, full-body tattoos, and an aggressive rap style, 6ix9ine quickly became a SoundCloud sensation. But it was his 2017 hit Gummo that changed everything. Gummo wasn't just a song, it was a statement. With its pounding beat, provocative lyrics, and a music video filled with gang members, it climbed to number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, amassing over 130 million YouTube views in just months. I want people to know I'm real, I live this life, 6ix9ine declared in an interview with DJ Academics, boasting about his ties to the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, a notorious New York faction of the Bloods. His style, a mix of gangster imagery, vibrant colors, and a defiant attitude, struck a chord with a generation craving bold, rule-breaking figures. The public's enthusiastic reception propelled 6ix9ine to new heights. His debut mixtape Day 69 reached 4 on the Billboard 200, with tracks like Kuda and Kike solidifying his status. His album Dummy Boy, despite leaking before release, hit number 2 on the Billboard 200, driven by the hit Fei Fei with Nicki Minaj, which peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100 and earned double platinum certification. On Instagram, he amassed over 15 million followers at his peak, with each post sparking controversy and millions of interactions. I don't need to be right, I just need to be seen. 6ix9ine once said, a quote that encapsulated his philosophy. The chaos 6ix9ine brought didn't alienate fans, it captivated them. He built a loyal fan base that loved his audacity and defended him against all criticism. But few realized that the same wild persona and dangerous affiliations that made him famous were also the fuse for a cascade of legal disasters, thrusting the rising star into a whirlwind of condemnation and prison.
I got federal agents sitting in front of my house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars. One thing I fear in life. No, 2 things. I fear God and I fear the FBI. Only 2 things I'm scared in life.
The cracks began to show in 2015, before Gummo even existed. At just 18, Daniel Hernandez was arrested over a video involving sexual content with a 13-year-old girl. According to court records, the video was filmed at a Harlem party featuring the victim in a pornographic context. Though Hernandez didn't directly engage in the assault, his presence and actions in the video were enough to charge him with use of a child in a sexual performance, a felony in New York. The sentence wasn't light: 300 hours of community service, 2 years of therapy, and a mandated apology letter to the victim's family. In New York, this is among the gravest offenses involving minors, and the punishment could have been harsher had Hernandez not taken a plea deal. Initially, the case didn't draw much public attention, but in 2017, as 6ix9ine exploded on social media with vibrant photos and bad boy music videos, the court documents resurfaced and spread rapidly. The truth from 2 years prior emerged at the height of his fame. "He's a predator," one Reddit user wrote. Another on X was harsher: "Nothing excuses that behavior, no matter how famous he gets." The contradiction was glaring. In real life, he was convicted of a crime involving a minor. Online, he crafted a defiant street rapper persona. Hip-hop forums began questioning, was all this bravado and noise just a mask to hide an immoral character? In a bid to control the crisis, 6ix9ine appeared on DJ Academic's show, claiming the victim was about 14 and he was 17 at the time. But court records confirmed he was 18, a detail that made the public feel deceived. He also said he voluntarily wrote an apology letter out of remorse, but this was a mandatory condition of his plea deal. Instead of showing genuine remorse, 6ix9ine quickly returned to provocative music videos and songs, seemingly believing a new scandal could overshadow the old one. He thinks fame and money can erase his past, a disappointed fan commented on Instagram. The backlash erupted into a cancel 6ix9ine movement. Numerous hip-hop channels, music blogs, and rap fan pages called for a boycott. Outlets like Pitchfork, The Daily Beast, and Complex covered the case, analyzing its long-term impact on his career. Ironically, his Instagram followers and YouTube views kept rising, proof of the strange allure of his dangerous but captivating image. Had 6ix9ine truly learned from this mistake, his story might have been different. But instead of stepping back to repair his image, he plunged into a series of new scandals, driving his career and reputation into an inescapable downward spiral. In reality, the 2015 scandal was just an early stain in 6ix9ine's record, interrupting his efforts to craft a glamorous gangster image where money, luxury cars, and extravagance were props to attract attention and mask his darker personal life. For those who followed him from the start, his brand was unmistakable. Stacks of cash waved in front of the camera, a fleet of supercars lined up outside, lavish parties, and glittering jewelry. 6ix9ine made flaunting a core part of his identity, turning every video into a stage to prove he was living the dream. But like a flashy backdrop in a cheap studio, it was all a facade. Beneath it lay emptiness and mounting debt. This truth was brutally exposed by Steve Will Do It, a former ally. Steve revealed he helped 6ix9ine secure a $2 million Rumble deal to livestream gaming. But 6ix9ine only showed up for 4 sessions before bailing, claiming he was buying a content house. Steve called him a moron and a terrible person, listing his massive debts: $10 million in IRS taxes, $9.8 million in damages to a stripper named Alexis for throwing a bottle, $600,000 for an unpaid house, $60,000 to a contractor, $1 million from and $1 million from a lawsuit by an ex-girlfriend over a revenge video. 6ix9ine himself admitted, "I don't have money right now," revealing that the cash stacks in his flaunting videos were fake. He called himself an entertainment artist with an entertainment degree, a ridiculous and bitter excuse, as his entire image of wealth was a staged narrative. What outraged the public most was how he used what he had. 6ix9ine borrowed money to buy Birkin bags for his girlfriend and threw cash online to score points with the crowd, yet neglected his own children. Over 5 years, he provided just $2,000 for his daughter Soraya, about $400 a year, and never met his second daughter Briella, despite confirming paternity. Sarah Molina, Soraya's mother, accused him he didn't buy Soraya Christmas gifts, leaving her in need. Marlena, Briella's mother, confirmed she received only $20,000 after his prison release, with no further support. For many, especially mothers, this was blatant irresponsibility, a father who squandered money on meaningless displays while leaving his children lacking both materially and emotionally. The financial stains were just the surface. 6ix9ine repeatedly faced legal trouble, from a 2015 incident involving a Houston teen driving without a license, obstructing police, to allegations of inappropriate behavior with Sarah Molina. He tested positive for stimulants, though he claimed it was just Adderall, and violated probation in 2024, leading to 45 days in jail and the risk of a 1-year sentence. When the IRS seized his cars, jewelry, and Florida home, he tried to salvage things by promoting dummy coin cryptocurrency and signing a $6 million record deal, canceled due to his probation violation. One viewer commented, "These mistakes don't just leave a permanent stain, they expose his utterly fake and irresponsible nature." More troubling, this isn't the end. Each incident and scandal signals that 6ix9ine has learned nothing from his downfall, and his next string of offenses will prove it most clearly. The mounting debts and flashy lifestyle are merely the surface of a deeper issue. The root lies in his attitude, a disregard for norms and consequences, evident from how he behaved after escaping the 2015 sex crime conviction. As if to prove that past scandals taught him nothing, right after dodging a major conviction, 6ix9ine dove into another reckless decision, a celebratory party that became one of his most infamous debacles. Instead of quietly retreating, he saw it as a victory and celebrated in his signature style. lavish, loud, and controversy-laden. With the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, he headed to Felipe Chow, a renowned New York restaurant, for a flashy party. But when staff refused service, the event spiraled into chaos. Shouting echoed, chairs flew, a security guard was injured. Gunshots rang out, panicking diners and prompting a police raid. Several 9 Trey members, including 6ix9ine's manager, were arrested on the spot. The Felipe Chow incident was just the tip of the iceberg. It exposed how 6ix9ine handled conflict, not by de-escalating but by pushing tensions to the extreme. Prior to this, 9 Trey was linked to armed robberies, street brawls, and reckless shootings. His direct ties to the gang stripped away his rebellious rapper image, revealing him as a cog in an organized crime network. When federally charged with racketeering, armed robbery, drug trafficking, and conspiracy to commit serious violence, he faced a minimum 47-year sentence, a near-death knell for his career. Then November 2018 became a fateful turning point. 6ix9ine and 6ix9ine Trey members were arrested in a major FBI operation. Days later, he made a decision the rap community deemed an unforgivable sin, cooperating with prosecutors to snitch on his crew. In the September 2019 trial, he detailed 9 Trey's inner workings, admitted to funding violent acts, and revealed information implicating other rap figures, sending shockwaves through the industry. The rap community's response was unprecedented outrage. "He's a rat," Meek Mill declared bluntly. Social media erupted with condemnation. "There's no rule in rap 6ix9ine hasn't broken." In street culture, where loyalty is an unwritten law, his betrayal was a direct slap to the honor of everyone who believed in his lyrics. 6ix9ine defended himself. "They betrayed me first. I just wanted to live." But to the rap world, his excuses didn't erase the stain. A Vulture article noted, "This betrayal obliterated everything he stood for, turning his street raps into a mockery of hypocrisy."
I don't give a if I'm held accountable for what I did. Yes, I snitched, and I did it proudly.
The consequences were irreversible. His sentence was reduced to 2 years, and he was released early in April 2020 due to COVID-19 concerns. But the cost was a ruined reputation, banned from performing in many venues, targeted for attacks, and universally shunned. Instead of showing remorse, 6ix9ine doubled down, turning his betrayal into content to boast about. "I beat the system." Yet these efforts only made him seem more callous. Organizations like No Kid Hungry rejected his $200,000 donation, and the rap world nearly unanimously erased what he once represented. How can someone who bragged about loyalty betray his crew and then shamelessly monetize that betrayal? A viewer asked. His snitching not only destroyed his gangster image, but made him a symbol of hypocrisy. But what drove him to trade loyalty for the facade of a living legend? Perhaps the ambition to become a living legend drove 6ix9ine to self-destructive decisions. And now, the price is a cascade of irreversible consequences. Legally, he faced 3 years of probation in 2017, was arrested in 2018, secured a reduced sentence by snitching on 9 Trey, but violated probation in 2024-2025, resulting in 45 days in detention and the risk of a 1-year sentence for testing positive for stimulants. Financially, he's burdened with over $20 million in debt, $10 million to the IRS, $9.8 million to Alexis, $2 million to Rumble, $1 million. From a robbery, $1 million from an ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, $600,000 for a house, $60,000 to a contractor, plus legal fees. In 2025, the IRS seized and auctioned his house, cars, jewelry, grills, and platinum record memorabilia. His career is in tatters. Tattletales sold only 53,000 copies. Leyenda Viva and Blackballed flopped. And he's been ostracized by the music industry. No Kid Hungry rejected his $200,000 donation, and despite pivoting to the Latin market, he lost all traction in the US. The public mocked him with viral memes branding him a traitor and deadbeat dad. Scandals piled up from inappropriate behavior with Sarah Molina Yalin, causing airport disturbances, faking his death for views, to attacking fans, further tanking his image. Sarah Molina, Marlena, and Ros Verde publicly criticized him for neglecting his children. In a letter to the judge, he admitted, "I was reckless and foolish." A fan once wrote, 6ix9ine may have talent, but he betrayed his crew, abandoned his kids, and lived a fake life. He doesn't deserve forgiveness. Snitching on 9 Trey, tax evasion, neglecting Soraya and Briella, and a flaunting fake lifestyle cost him all respect in the hip-hop community. Talent can't justify irresponsibility or moral failure. Despite signing major deals from prison and proclaiming himself king of New York, he couldn't escape the shadow of choices that destroyed both his life and career. The story of 6ix9ine isn't just a scandal-filled resume of a controversial artist. It's a giant mirror reflecting the hidden dangers of trading core principles and values for fleeting fame. The spotlight can dazzle you, the cheers can make you forget who you are, but both fade quickly if your foundation is built on sand. First, this is a warning about loyalty and trust. In any community, whether a group of friends, a sports team, a workplace, or a culture like hip-hop, trust is the red thread binding people together. Betraying that trust doesn't just break a relationship, it severs your connection to the community. In the rap world, where loyalty is an unwritten law, betrayal doesn't just cost you allies, it slams shut every door to a comeback. Second, it's a lesson about personal responsibility when you hold influence. No one expects you to be a perfect role model, but when millions are watching, your actions ripple. Neglecting your children, glorifying violence, or flaunting fake wealth doesn't just damage your image, it plants warped ideas of success and happiness in the minds of your audience. Especially the young, fame is a privilege, but also a responsibility. Use it to build, and it lifts you up. Use it to destroy, and it drags you down deeper than any fall. Third, this story reminds us that fame can't replace integrity. Views can be bought, million-dollar deals can be signed, but integrity is earned through consistent actions over time. Once lost, no amount of money, hits, or media stunts can buy it back. Integrity is the only shield that protects you when the spotlight fades, and when it shatters, any remaining glamour is just peeling paint. Finally, it's a lesson about truth versus illusion. You can craft a lavish persona online, convincing yourself and others it's success, but the truth has a brutal way of surfacing. It emerges when you're most vulnerable. And when it does, it doesn't just take your fame or money, it strips away the chance to be trusted again. 6ix9ine once had what millions of young artists dream of: talent, fame, and a passionate fan base. But he chose the shortest, most dangerous path, one fueled by infamy, bragging, and delusions of power. To stay relevant, that path can rocket you to the top, but it's steep enough to plunge you into the abyss with one misstep. And when you fall, everything you clung to, money, fame, social media, becomes meaningless, because all that's left is the real you. This story reminds us lasting success doesn't come from the brightest moments, but from the principles you uphold when no one's watching. When the spotlight dims and the cheers fade, what defines you isn't the million-dollar contracts you signed or the hits you made. It's how you lived, the values you held, and the people still by your side when the glamour is gone. Looking at 6ix9ine today, those lessons become clearer than ever. His journey is a cautionary tale about the cost of fame without ethics or responsibility. He lost the respect of millions who once adored his unique style and explosive energy. I miss the early days watching Gummo when he was just a quirky guy with colored hair. A fan wrote on YouTube, reminiscing about a time before 6ix9ine was tainted by scandals. But his handling of criticism, from downplaying crimes to flaunting betrayal, turned even his most loyal fans away. Despite attempts to sustain his career with releases like Leyenda Viva and Blackballed, 6ix9ine couldn't recapture his former glory. Leyenda Viva failed to chart, and his social media posts now attract only a fraction of the audience from his peak. He can keep making music, but no one will take him seriously anymore. A Reddit user wrote, summing up the harsh reality: repeated arrests from domestic violence allegations in the Dominican Republic to probation violations only solidified his image as irredeemable. 6ix9ine may still try to appear on Instagram or TikTok, but he'll never regain the loving community and unwavering trust he once had. Questions about his behavior and ethics will forever haunt his legacy, turning a once dazzling star into a symbol of failure and betrayal. He had everything but destroyed it all himself, a comment on X concluded, and perhaps that's the most painful lesson this story leaves behind.